right, welcome back to For Insight Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Obi. Hope everyone's doing well out there. First and foremost, before we get into this week's episode, we have a big announcement. So, this familiar face is now officially a partner and co-host of For Insight with me, my boy London Ogletree.
Hey, what's up, my man? Definitely happy to be here for a long time. We discussed this in the gym, I'll say probably about a month ago, and something just clicked. And I just sat back and I think this is something that I have to do. Just kind of having that thought in my head for years now. I was like, this would be the perfect podcast and perfect host to kind of just sit down and do this with and dive deeper with. So I'm definitely glad to be here.
Most definitely, and I'm happy and proud that you were able to trust in me, because it's not easy finding partners in these type of spaces. But I appreciate your perspective always, and we've talked about so many things outside of the gym, and so for us to kind of come together and put this podcast and sort of network and sort of grow together, I think is going to be important. And it's also, I think, important for the culture, like just showing other dudes, other people, like it's better and you can get more stuff done. You can grow faster when you work together instead of always trying to go at life alone. I think that's the lesson many people have to learn, is that, you are really as big and you are as valuable as your network and the people you work around. You know what I mean?
That's 100% true.
All right, so let's get into this week's episode, man. So we're going to engage in a bit of our past. We're going to open up sort of the brain, and we're going to engage in this activity. So last week, one of the main talking points I felt was important to talk about was this whole accountability between men and women, especially when it comes to dating and relationships. What we're going to do today is give people a bit of an example of how we can go about that by using ourselves. And we're going to use this as a set and as a foundation of the groundwork going forward. All right. So where we're going to start off is we're going to go into our past. And what I mean first is our past relationships. So what I want to do in part one is I want you to use 3 words to describe your past relationships.
Well, I've only had really one serious relationship, which was 6 years. I don't want to use toxic for one of them. Dysfunctional was definitely one of them because of just the type of situation that I was in with her. It wasn't the ideal. I was graduating high school. She was still in high school. Like I said, mentioning from the other episodes, I come from Detroit, but I moved to Katy, so it's predominantly white women over there. So she was white, and I'm just gonna be transparent on this episode. That's kind of what we're about here. Is just the reason why I think it was dysfunctional was just, we live in America where we're still in the society of racism, and it just is what it is. But unfortunately, that was the situation in that relationship. So it never kind of had its ability to kind of take off. So I don't think that it would have been dysfunctional if we could have did it the right way, but it just, unfortunately, one side didn't respect culture wise. So it just is what it is, but I'll say it was dysfunctional, toxic, because it did start off as a dysfunctional relationship. And over time it grew into being toxic because I was being hid. I couldn't be shown on social media. Not that I care about being on social media, but being able to not be on social media because of who I am as a African-American kind of grew that toxic level of the relationship. The third one, that's a good one. Learning. It was a good learning experience. That's what I would like to say. I always got love for that girl. I'm never going to disrespect her ever in my life. But it was definitely a learning curve being in that relationship for 6 years. It taught me things that I did well, and it taught me things that I didn't do well, and kind of sit back and kind of take from that relationship and take from that, and also grow as a young man, because I think most men don't do that, and women sit back and see where you went wrong and kind of take bits and pieces from that relationship and put it into a new one. So it definitely taught me how to learn about a few things about myself and to learn about other women. So I definitely say those are 3. Toxic, I learned a lot, and also what was the second one?
we got toxic, dysfunctional, and we got
Oh,
learning.
dysfunctional, yeah. So dysfunctional, toxic, and just I learned. So those would be the three that I probably take away from it.
Hmm. I mean, that's good. I think, what it all comes down to is, us as guys, I think we have to kind of learn by doing and by experiencing most of the time, right?
Right.
It's only so much you can learn from witnessing and observing, even, as many experiences and many relationships as you might see from the outside looking in, it really doesn't hit home. It doesn't really sort of resonate until you go through it for yourself. But and I think it's important to understand those things young. There's some people who say, no, you should wait off and hold off. But I think the sooner you can kind of learn and understand things, the better. You know what I'm saying? And you can kind of make sense of, okay, what did I do wrong here? What can I do wrong? Or what did I do right even? And why
Yeah.
did this work out? Why did this not
Right.
work out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely takes a strong-minded individual to kind of sit down with themselves and be like, "Hey, what did I do wrong?" And I think that's what helped me actually move on from my situation was instead of blaming her,
Mm-hmm.
sit back and see what I did wrong. And that's kind of how I healed from it.
Yeah.
Was like instead of just saying you was wrong, you was wrong. What did I do? And that's how over time I just got over it and healed from it. And I don't speak negative about her. It's just I speak the truth and what happened and what went wrong, but I would never say she's this or this. Like I would never disrespect her because it's just not my character. But that's kind of how I look at it.
No, for sure. If so for me, I would go I would go awakening. I would go
Mm,
necessary. And then I've had two official relationships, and um the
reoccurring.
second one was so much different from the first. The second one I would say reassuring. So
Reassuring.
yeah, reassuring. So why I said those three words. The first word I used, awakening, was because when I first got into that relationship, I had nobody really teaching me about relationships, women, girls.
Right,
I
right.
didn't have that type of relationship with my parents at the time to do that. So a lot of it was just Disney Channel fairy tale, as I mentioned before, and kind of what I felt. Well, you're supposed to be the guy. You're supposed to make sure no matter what, you're always trying to work it out. You're always trying to make sure she's happy, even at the sacrifice of yourself. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was what we were supposed to do as boyfriends. Like that's what that meant. If she's maybe having a certain way, but she's angry at you, you're supposed to do everything to fix it. You know what I'm saying? And I learned really quickly, like, nah, like you have to set boundaries, like you have to respect yourself above anything,
Yeah,
right? Even if that means people around you guys aren't respecting you, right? Or one thing that I had happen was it got to a point I was playing football. I lost my starting spot, and people around her were like, "Why are you still with this brother? This dude don't have no scholarships. He don't start no more. Like, what's his value to you? You know what I mean?" And
and
so,
how did she handle it? We got to dive deep now. We got to dive
well,
deep.
I'll tell you this. It definitely played a factor on why we broke up. I'll say it that way. From the standpoint like it was just one of them things like she would just use those things as like leverage against me, like
Mm,
what I'm saying, like you don't have no offers, my people are telling me like what's your value to me, blah blah blah. Like she kind of let it influence a little bit, and it is what it is. Like in a way I could have easily decided that okay, you're not the right one, to move on, but I didn't, right?
exactly.
And so I put that just as much on myself as like I don't blame her for nothing. She just was who she was at the time, right? And I always said that first relationship experience really kind of was necessary for me to have happen early and young, as far as just like understanding, nah, bro, this way you're thinking about it going, it's not how it's supposed to be, right?
Right.
So then we go through that relationship ends. I was a junior in high school when that happened, right? And I think why that was awakening was because when I changed and I did the reflection and I did the self work, like you talked about, life got better for me, right? I really embraced the team. And then I did better in football. I ended up starting and going on district the next year. And then the respect factor changed amongst not just my peers, but everyone. right? Amongst women, you walk confidently. So like when guys are always talking like, yo, focus on yourself and build yourself back up. You know what I'm saying? Like work on yourself, actually reflect, actually heal. It really kind of helps you kind of understand like you don't care about people who disrespect you just for like, all right, you're not valuable to me. Let me move on. You know what I mean? So it was just that aspect of respecting yourself. I think I learned in the second one. My second relationship though, complete opposite. So this person respected me, was very good, was very nice. So when I say I think what was the second word I used?
You use necessary.
So necessary was from the standpoint of, okay, when you do the reflective work, when you do have a person who is nice to you, who's actually attracted to you, very much interested in you, see how different it is the way they interact with you, how they feel
Right.
about you, how to
Right.
make you feel, right? How much effort they put in, right? How much they reciprocate. And when other people try to influence it, they don't have that. They don't tolerate that as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was the thing that was like, dang, like this person really is like good and like nice. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And the last thing was reassuring. It was reassuring those two experiences and really just any dating interaction I've had in terms of like when you respect yourself, when you hold yourself accountable, when you set boundaries and you're firm on them, right? When you have that communication that is necessary, things go better. When you try to suppress things, when you try to, push things off, when you don't try to be, that person who tries to confront conflict and like, yo, we have an issue. Let's talk about it or let's figure things
Yeah.
out. Things only get worse from there, is what I learned.
Not for you to go, you don't got to go too deep into it if you don't want to, but
Mm-hmm.
I thought about something because this is something that kind of makes me upset when it comes to women.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you lost your starting spot
Mm-hmm.
and then she had to hear that from other people and it kind of played a part of how she felt about you.
Mm-hmm.
But you on the back end of it, you said next year you went from starting and then you was walking confidence and all this. Did you guys stay together within that time?
No,
Or
no.
so did that's the question. See, that's what I get mad at. So I'm like, you're so in my eyes, you're supposed to stay beside your man and you're supposed to support me through. I know we're young, so you can be influenced by other people when you're young. And like you said, at that stage, she wasn't, that's where she was, no hard feelings. But my question is, did she try to come back around when you were starting, or was she just, hey, I'm sorry for what I did and I was immature?
All right, this brother here. So, all right. This is what I'll say. But me losing my starting spot wasn't the only influencing factor. I want to take accountability for that. Really truly, when I look back at it, I think I did every possible thing. Like I told you, nobody teaching me nothing. I think I did every possible thing wrong in the playbook for you to like, if you want a crash course on how to end a relationship, boom, just follow that model. But to answer your question though, no. So I lost my starting spot. Let's say this was at part 2 of 6, right? I lost it at part 2. And then it just was like it was a gradual, like precipitous drop off in terms of respect, in terms of communication, in terms of attraction, even like it was almost like you discussed me, like, yeah, I mean, and then like eventually just got to the point where like we break up, like, because she thought she could do better, right? So we break up. About a couple weeks later, she was somebody else. And that's just what it was. And so with that, I was just like, okay, that's one less distraction I have. Let me just focus on other things. Let me focus on school because my grades are still good. Still had to make sure I maintain that. I was like, let me just focus on the team and bond with them and actually invest. Because that was one thing I did like kind of reflect on. I was like, how can I be better? Why did I lose my starting spot to begin with? Right.
Yeah.
I was like, I lost trust. Right. I lost trust because I took my off the prize for that split second. Right. So then when I started just doing the work and stopped complaining about stuff, stop asking, why did this happen? Why me? It was just like, okay, this is what it is. You made your bed, Obi, you got to lie in it and you got to dig yourself out.
Figure it out.
Figure shit
Exactly.
out.
That's it.
Now you asked, did she come back around? Yes. Yes. I start talking to somebody else who is attractive as well. And it was almost like
You
really?
could get somebody.
Yeah, it was like, wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to happen. Like, what I'm saying? And she slowly started. I remember it too. Like it was just like something told me yo, look at your phone. And I looked at it on my phone. I hadn't spoke to this person in months, almost a year. All of a sudden, I get a text from her, like on some, like you changed up and you're different now, and you don't like me no more as a person. I'm just like, we good. I don't got no ill
We
feelings,
don't
but
got no beef. It's just it
you
is
told
what
me it
it is.
was like we broke up. I thought when you break up with a person, you're not supposed to just be around like that. And so that's how it happened. She did try to come back, and um, I wasn't having that, bro. I move on. Once I'm done with someone, I'm done. This is how it is.
Yeah, I could possibly say like with my relationship, that's probably 100% done because like I'm stubborn. I know she's 100% stubborn. So it's like no matter what, like I said, I don't think you can get. That's why I have a disconnect with relationships now because like I've talked to several girls and I've had girls tell me they love me in literally like a month, and I'm like, what? Like, how's
That
that
L
possible?
word, man. That L
Like,
word.
how do
We
you
talk about
even
that.
throw that word out? So me, I don't throw that word out lightly. So when I did say that word to her, I'm never going to disrespect her, but like it's just like we lost that connection, and I can see where things went wrong, but I just know that ship is never going to be able to ever come back up. So
I want to talk about the L word real quick. Have you ever said it, and do you think you ever felt it?
I for sure felt it,
Ooh,
and I for definitely said it.
okay.
I got a story. This is going. Um, what I think I was a freshman in college, and she
Mhm,
came to my place.
mhm,
Actually, no, I was a fresh sophomore in college,
mhm.
and I texted to her. I was like, I think I love you. I ain't gonna lie. I think I love you. It was like a year and a half in our relationship. I was like, I think I love you.
LOVE or LUV?
LOVE. Love. And then I was like, the crazy thing is she didn't reply back to it. Like she kind of skipped over. I'm like, oh,
Ooh,
so I tell my homeboy Ryan, I'm like, I just said this and she didn't even reply back. I would never tell nobody else I love them again. That's just how I am. So
mm,
I go back to Houston. So I was in College Station at that time. I come back to Houston. My parents are moving,
mhm,
going back to Michigan at that time. We laying down, and this is how I knew I felt it. We were just laying down. It was dark. TV was on. She was like, "I think I love you too." And I'm in the bed. I'm like, "This did this did this MF just say she loved me?" Like, and then I've never felt chills go in my body like this in my life, and like chills just
Nice.
went in my body. Like I fell off my bed. Look, like this is a true story. And to that, we just kind of went from there. We took that relationship, like we were still hiding. Her parents couldn't know we was dating. I was gonna go to Texas State,
Mhm,
and my homeboy Ryan and Kevin was like, "We need you to go to Texas Tech. Like, we just need you there." And then I met them in 7th and 8th grade, but Blake went to Texas State, and I was gonna go to Texas State with Blake, do
mhm,
at the gym. I signed my lease at Texas State, and then my girl, she was going to Texas Tech, and
mhm.
I wasn't even going to go to Texas Tech because of her. Like, I'm not going to be that guy to follow no girl. It's just I don't care if we dating or whatever. But
Right.
just ironically, I went because of my homeboys. I actually went because of them.
Mhm,
So I went to Texas Tech,
mhm,
and just it was lucked out that we both went to the same college, and that was boy, that was a roller coaster.
mhm.
But we just kept going in the same like roller coaster up and down. But I say it was a good relationship, but it was a bad relationship. I'm not gonna say it was all bad, but I definitely, to answer your question, I have felt it, and I definitely said the LOVE. Like that's why it took me 2 years to get over this girl. I'm just getting over it. Like it, I had to literally sit. People think I'm weird because I do this, but I tell people I sit down and I sit in my house, light a candle, listen to
Mhm.
R&B, drink some wine, and really reflect on what I did wrong because that's the only way I could properly heal. Like it's weird. People like that's kind of like it seems suicidal, but it's not. It's just like I just have to sit with my thoughts and get my thoughts together. So I'm very competitive. So I turn that into competition, and then
Mhm.
I turn it to I got to let everybody see that they made a bad decision, and I got to let people know. So That's what love would do to y'all if y'all want to be in if y'all
Yeah,
want to be
yeah. See what happens when you're in a love type of person, bro. You just be loving people, bro. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
man. I
No,
don't
no, no, no. I mean, but I think what you're talking about though is something that a lot of guys kind of struggle to deal with, right? Is that when you do fully invest and you give yourself the person, you let your guard down, and you decide like, am I in love with this person? Am I in love with this woman? Like, how deep does my attraction, my infatuation with her go? And then maybe it doesn't work out, or she breaks your heart, or she does. Like, that's the one thing I hate the most is when I hear women troll guys and say, "Who hurt you?" Like, that's the one term I hate, where it's like, y'all don't know what, like, y'all never been men, so I get it, but you really don't know what it does to a guy who truly gives his heart to someone and then she breaks it. Like, do you understand? Like, that is not something to play with. And so every time I hear it, I'm just like, we just don't
think
even know.
every guy has to get hurt once. And
Oh
don't get
yeah,
me
it's
wrong,
necessary. It's part of
don't
it.
get me
Yeah.
wrong. I'm not gonna sit there and put all my marbles in one basket and say she did everything wrong.
Facts.
I did a lot of the messed up stuff probably that
Facts.
made us break up. If we dive a little deeper in there, I'll go into it. But
No.
I definitely I messed up on my part. But I think how the foundation of the relationship happened led me to do those things, which is
Yeah.
not an excuse. So I changed my morals and values. But yeah, definitely. I think a guy has to get hurt. One, like my dad told my mom when she figured out that we broke up, he was like, "That's good. He needs to feel
Mhm.
that." I
Yeah.
said, "What kind of stuff is that?" But he was like, he needs to feel that hurt. And when I tell you, I felt that. Like I really felt it. So now I
Mhm.
try my hardest, like to not hurt women no more. I try not to lie to them. I try to give them complete honesty because that's what I struggled with in my relationship was
Mhm.
it was so easy for me to lie. And you got to keep up the same lie for 6 years. Like I told you this in 2014. I got to tell you this in 2052. So,
Mhm.
so it's like over time, I just got to the point where it's like, I'm going to tell you the truth. It might not come out well, but you're going to respect me for telling you how I felt.
Mhm.
And we can go from there. But I'm not lying to no more women. They don't get no more lies from me.
Yeah. No, no, man. I think it is important that, like, as messed up as it sounds, every guy does have to go through some level of hurt or heartbreak or some type of
That's how you
like
change.
pain. That's how you change. But that's also, you understand how deeply pain can go as far as dealing with women. And so then I think it makes you a little bit more diligent on the type of partner you pick. Like, I can't just pick any woman, right? Imagine a guy who's never been heartbroken or never experienced that level of pain, and he's 30 years old and stubborn and stuck in his morals. Right? I think that's where you get these
Yeah, yeah,
vindictive dudes, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, I think like pain is good because once you heal, you're better for it in the end. Just like me who lost the starting spot, like that was heartbreaking, right? Because it's like you really are telling me like you suck, you don't trust me, like, and then having to get that back, like, well, okay, you go through this, you heal, you get better. When
yeah,
it comes to a job, not getting the dream job you get, that that's heartbreaking as well. Like, you
yeah.
thought you qualified, you thought you were good enough, go through that pain, and then you're like, most people who are resilient are gonna say, okay, how can I be better from this? It's just a matter of you, with every pain, everything that hurts you makes you stronger. You know what I mean? So I think just for any woman out there who wants to use that against the dude, I'm like, nah, that's not something you play with. I'm saying it here on the air, yo. Like, that's not something you troll with, bro. Like,
I dive deep and tell them if they, because I get that a lot. Who hurt you? And it's funny you said that.
mm-hmm,
Blake tells me a lot. He says stop talking about your past because he
mm-hmm.
says you come off as emotionally not available.
That's true. Yeah,
So
yeah.
what I stopped doing was I stopped even talking about my past because I say I don't trust women, which I don't. But
Ooh, ooh, see,
I don't trust women, and I just expect the worst out of things. Like it might not happen, but I expect the worst. But me knowing my last year and a half and just how many women has tried to pursue me, and
mm-hmm,
I do push them. I have this guard up, I have this wall up, but I think me talking about that in my past always makes women like run away. But on
mm-hmm,
the back end of it, I always say it's going to be one woman out there who is
mm-hmm,
strong enough to hear my pain or hear that.
mm-hmm.
And we build up as a team, even though that's not her problem, because I'm kind of the same way. I'm not here to kind of save nobody, but like, so I understand they don't, but there might be somebody, which I'm good now. I don't even talk about that. But like at that time, I was thinking like, there's gonna be somebody who understands and who's gonna be that 10 toes woman, which I'm really not in that phase because I was still hurt, so I was still wanting to talk about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
It's
man,
a
for
right.
me, just to put a bow on it, like I always say, um, I like I can be around, pursue, date women because I've gone through that. Like I'm like, I understand what it is, I
Right.
understand how I got to those points. So, and for me, like I just have a mindset where as soon as I see any type of betrayal, any type of like, okay, she might be trying to, there's a red flag there. I'm very quick on, okay, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't ignore red flags. That's the main thing I took away from those type of experiences. So like I'm not hurt or I'm not like, oh my gosh, why are you so angry? Why are you so this? I'm like, no, it's just I understand like I'm not gonna have my peace of mind be sacrificed. So I'm just very diligent on who I choose to interact with. That's how I put it simply. You know what I mean?
That's well put.
All right. So now let's move on to the next thing. So we kind of have already talked about it a little bit, but the next question is just why are we single currently? Right? Why are we not in relationships? So if you had to put it in simplest terms, why are you currently single, bro?
Ooh, you want the short answer or do you want the long answer?
Do you, bro?
Do me?
Yeah.
All right, man. It's not to kind of shit on anybody, but it's like me being in that 6 year relationship
Mm,
made me see my value and my worth
mm,
because kind of how you had that situation where you would jump on the moon for your girl. You thought the boyfriend's supposed to do this. I was the same way. My ex wanted to go to New York and she's big into shoes and this. I was like, go to New York, go do this, go follow your dreams. I'll follow you, baby. Like that's who I was.
right.
So I was like, I can go find me some money. I'm always a hustler. I'm gonna go get me some money wherever I'm at. So I
Facts.
knew she wanted to be in that career. And that's the only like thing she wanted to do at that time. So I was gonna do that. So me being in that relationship, learned that. So now the reason why I'm single now is because I see so much value in myself and where I'm trying to build that empire.
Mm,
It's hard for me to connect. Me being in corporate America and me talking to grown-ups every single day,
mm,
it makes me mature so much faster, which it's a gift and it's a curse because now I'm talking to 50-year-olds, I'm talking to 40-year-olds, I'm talking to 25-year-olds, I'm talking to some 60-year-olds. But it's like I'm talking to CEOs, I'm talking to CFOs, I'm talking to like energy managers. So it's like I'm talking to so many different people now. And when I talk to a woman, I kind of look for that connection. Like the first conversation that usually comes in is like, what do you do for work? I tell them I'm in energy tech sales. And, I'm going to flip it back and say, what do you do? And, that's where the disconnect kind of comes. I think a lot of people might be in corporate America. If you're not in corporate America, that's fine. I like people with hustle. Like I'm trying to start this, I'm trying to start my own company, I'm trying to do that. And I kind of run into a lot of wall blocks. Like, well, I'm still chilling with my peoples. I'm not doing nothing. Like in my head, like you're 26. Like what's going on? Like let's have a plan. Like at least have a plan. And if you have a plan, I can work with that because like I don't need you to have the money. I don't need you to have that, but I would like for you to have it. But if you don't, then we can figure something out. So just to kind of wrap that up and kind of say, I just think the mentality of women and me right now isn't the same
mm,
because I look at it as like, I'm not saying their relationship is 100%, but I look at it like Beyonce and Jay-Z.
mm,
Jay-Z is busy so much of the day, he can't always text her or 24/7. And Beyonce is probably like, cool, I'm cool with that. Like, I can't text you all day. I got this to do, I got this agenda. So people get mad at me when I can't reply on text because I'm
mm.
working. So I'm like, I lose attraction. I don't look at looks anymore, like fully like, okay, she got this, she got that, she got that. Like if a
Mm,
woman told me I do this, I make this, I invest in this stock market, I'm into mutual funds, I have a Roth RA, I'd be like, dang girl, when are we about to get married? Like that's my type of day. That's to me, that's the nice figure to me now. So, and then
yeah.
plus if you look good as well, that's my wife. So whoever do that stuff and thinking about building an empire, y'all find my Instagram and y'all find me. But
At London
um,
Ogletree, by the way, that's London
that's why
Ogletree.
I'm single. So I just have to disconnect. Like if I lift one side of the table
Yeah,
or the couch, I need you to lift the other side.
really, you want her lifting
That's
the
the analogy I use. I can't keep lifting the couch by myself no more. I need a partnership. I need a woman who wants to do another side until I can sit here and say, you know what, babe, you have done so much.
Mhm.
Sit down, let me take care of you. Right now, I'm 25, about to be 26.
Mhm.
Like, I should not have to take care of you at 25. Like, people got this like mindset now is like, I need a man who gonna take care of me. I'm telling you, the social media, this rap stuff, this basketball athlete stuff is messing everybody up because they lose reality with stuff. So it's like, I make great money, but no, I'm not about to sit here and buy you these Birkins, these Louis, this. No, like you can't even buy that for yourself. So why should I buy that for you? And the people hate hearing it, and I'm just gonna be the blunt person about it. But that's why I'm single, because I get so frustrated when people just I'm be real shit. I just get frustrated when people just do that. So I'm like if I wasn't here, would you buy that for yourself? If the answer is no, don't ask me. It's very simple. So if she got it, she got it. If she would, she would. And then I don't know. I just if I can connect with a person, I'm there. But that's why I'm single.
Goddamn, London.
Why are you single, Obi? Tell me.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. No, in all seriousness, it's a couple of things, but I think first and foremost, my relationships in the past explained to me that relationships first off is about sacrifice and their work, right? Which I mean, you kind of understand that going in, but I understand the level of sacrifice it takes to kind of maintain the relationships with women. And if you want to use women nowadays, sure, like I'll use that term, right? Because I understand like you can't be selfish. You can't think about only yourself anymore. You have to take her opinion into account. You have to take her wanting attention, wanting time, wanting to have that intimacy. Also, especially nowadays, my opinion is that women want a man that's already put together and is already at the finish line. They don't want to build with you like you're talking about. That's my opinion. I think they would rather find a man who's already got his shit together, who's already making six figures, since that's the number. That's usually the minimum, right? So I'm like, well, I'm still building and emerging towards that, right? So for me, it's like, well, while I'm working, while I'm building, there's really no time for that. Or it's very hard to find a woman. Obviously, they exist, right? Not all women for the all police. Not all women, won't build with their man, but it's usually they would rather have a guy who would take care of them and have most of the shit figured out. You know what I mean? So that's first and foremost. I think on aside from that, I don't want to use picky as like the word, but it's just I have a lot of red flags where it's like the door is so comfortably right there type of person where it's like, okay, if you think this about me, okay, cool, there you go. Like I'm not finna argue, I'm not finna fight, I'm not finna do none of that. Like, because for me, I've seen not only my relationships, but like I have a lot of older friends, a lot of older mentors. They're like, bro, don't waste your time arguing with people. Don't waste your time, wasting energy. And my peace of mind is paramount to me, right? So I'm not finna lose sleep or cause extra stress that is needed, on bickering or, figuring like, oh, why is she mad today? Or why is she this? Why is she? I'm like, okay, we good. So I just think that lack of wanting to kind of build things through like kind of like invest more energy than necessary. I think that's the second thing. And then it's just um from what my influences have been is that while you're young, you shouldn't be in a relationship most of the time. Like I hear so many OGs, especially telling me like, bro, you're young, bro. Like you
Have
don't need
fun.
have fun one, and then like it's really not necessary to even look at relationships, marriage, all that other stuff until you hit about this age, right? Till you hit about 20 to 30. But right now you should be focused on yourself, building yourself up to the type of person you want to be, to your ideal version, and then you can look at trying to build a relationship with a woman, right? Just because by that time you're secure. You already have you already have your empire off and running. You already got your feet set. You already planted, right? You're not having to deal with distractions or, possible, hindrances along the way. So I think, just put simply, it's a matter of just, I understand the work a relationship takes. Um, and I have a little bit too much selfishness in terms of just wanting to build myself, that I'd rather just be single, more times than not. Or it's hard to find that unicorn that is really willing to build with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. But see, that's my thing. They say I think we're in a generation where we're so speeded up. Like I think us millennials are more advanced than our parents, and that's not a knock to us. It's just over time, the generation after us is going to be more advanced than us. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
sports and anything. So I don't think age, to me personally, I don't think age makes you like be able to settle down. I think it's money.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm 22 years old and I make $6 million a year,
Mm-hmm.
who's to say I shouldn't have a family? If I wanted that. But it's like, look at all these athletes, like they usually get kids at like 22, 23 and have their girls. And I mean, of course they might do some dog stuff, but it's like, I mean, 40 or 50-year-olds might do that. So it's like, to me, I think you have to have a mentality, because they always say, well, men don't mature until they're 30. To me, I don't think maturity comes from age. I think it comes from experience.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think my last childish moment was to kind of go through that relationship breakup and figure out like, why was I cheating or why was I doing this? So once I passed that, it's like I'm at the point where I'm trying to build something. Like it's,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I agree with what older people say, because I hear that all the time. Have fun. Why are you in a relationship right now? And also, I don't want to be 58 years old. My kid is 20. Like I'm trying to play. I'm trying to
Facts.
hoop with my kid too. I'm trying to go run some fives with him and see if he really is like that, or he just, or if it's whatever. So it's the way you look at it, in my opinion, for that at least.
Yeah, I mean, that brings up an interesting kind of dichotomy though, that you're talking about it. Like there are those people on one end who say, no, you should have your family young, get married young, like, and like start your empire young. That way you have the energy to actually invest it in, watch your
Yeah.
kids kind of grow up. You have the energy to kind of be a parent, right?
Yeah.
Then there are others who say, nah, get married later, wait till you're 30, 35, 40, you know what I mean? And like by that time you're already set and ready. I think there's
Yeah.
no perfect answer. There's no
Yeah.
necessarily right answer. It's just a matter, like you said, maturity. Like for you, you said money. I think it's money and maturity. Because like you said, a 22-year-old who makes $6 million a year. I guarantee you that 22-year-old hasn't gone through enough life experience for us thought to maintain that 6 million. Like usually if he's 22 and he's making $6 million a year and he decides to start a family at that moment, he's gonna go through some he's gonna go through some things that I don't think his family should have to go through, especially his child, right? Because there's no turning back. There's no, oh well, I thought. There's no getting to have a hindsight at that point. Like every action, every decision you make directly affects your family. Like that's why I think having kids kind of matures people up and it speeds it up. Like if you used to think, okay, I can be immature, well, no, now you're responsible for another human being's life. Like that's part of the reason too, is like, when I am in a relationship, I want to be able to make sure I can do it as correctly as I can, right? Obviously, nothing's going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. But, I think that's another thing too, is I get so caught up in trying to get things right and trying to get things perfect that I'm like, nah, I ain't got that figured out yet. I don't got this ready yet. You know what I'm saying? And so, because my boy Nicholas, um, he just got engaged and he had been having this conversation with me since I was 19, 20, 21. Like, bro, you can find a good woman, bro. You need to find a good woman and you can build with her. And I've always hit him with the, nah, bro, like I'd rather have my shit together first and then find the woman. It's like, you don't got to do it that, like, why are you so guarded, or why are you so like, I have to have everything 100% there? I'm like, because when I didn't, that usually turns women like, it usually turns women off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you ain't got this, you ain't got that money, you ain't got that. Oh, that's not off the ground yet. Oh, I know you say that you have this dream, but it's like,
Is it
yeah, I
going
don't
to actually happen?
exactly.
But
Right.
see,
It's
that's when I lose my interest. If I have a dream and you're not supporting it, No.
That's a
If,
fact.
if,
Yeah.
if I already have it, I'm gonna look at you and be like, you only here because I got it. So it's like to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to have all my stuff. That's why I love those like YouTube videos who act bummy and act poor, and these girls be like, I don't want you. And he come back with a Ferrari. That's some stuff I would do. Like, okay, you think
Because you
I'm bummy?
toxic, London. That's why.
No,
'Cause
I'm
you
not
toxic.
toxic. It's that these women are toxic and they wanted to sit here and tell me that I was a bum 5 minutes ago. I just drove by you with this jurist. Oh, now you want me.
Mm.
Nah, that's not how that go.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate real quick then. From a woman's perspective, because I hear this told to me a lot, right?
Here he go.
No, hey, I'm just asking a
I'm
question,
listening.
brother. Why get with a dude who doesn't have his shit together? How do I know this is gonna pan out? How do I know if I have this brother's child, right? Like he's still gonna be able to provide for us as a family. You guys are telling me as a woman that I should be submissive, I should be feminine towards him, I should sacrifice, even sacrifice my career, my wealth, my empire for this man that may not have, he may not pan out. So why would I do that to myself? That seems like a bad risk.
Yes, we do.
You're a man. That's part of your expectation, right? I mean, no, I mean, am I wrong? Am I
No, it is.
wrong?
It is.
Don't
Now,
isn't
now,
it? No, because seriously, isn't that part of our upbringing as men, especially us who have dad? Like for me, I know every father, like not just my dad, but my uncles, every male figure, like yo, your life is sacrifice, yo. Like that's why you go out and you work. That's why you have a family. You work so you can provide for them. Like period. There's
I
no so
agree.
go.
Now, now, I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But now, this is when we lose focus on what is the woman's role now. Because if we want to go by the traditional way of us doing it, I'm cool with it. But now, if I go out here and go get that bread, I go out here and make sure this roof is over your head so you can sleep. If I go
Mm-hmm.
do all these things that a man's supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
if I sit here and ask for a home cooked meal, I'm asking for you to like $400 million at this point. I'm asking for $400 million for you to have me a home cooked meal and just make sure that I got a roof over your head. I do anything. I pay for the kids' college. I pay for the kids' cars. I'll do that. I make sure you all right. But if I need that, just loving support.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, baby, need some water. Hey, baby, I got this meal for you. Here you go. You always got to cook, but it's like these women lose focus of that. But it's like I feel like everybody has a role in the relationship, and it's like this. Everybody says this ain't the '60s, this ain't the '50s. I'm not asking that, but if you need somebody to mount this TV, who you gonna ask? Me. If you need somebody to go change your oil, who you gonna ask? Me. Because I can do that. You need me somebody to change your brakes, who you gonna ask? Me. You need somebody to cut the grass? Me. So if I ask for you to do something, why can I get that? That's my problem. That is where the disconnect goes, and this is why you said I watched the video of this girl. She said, I can't date nobody who's in 9 to 5 corporate America. He said, why? She said, did you see me this video? Yes.
No, or maybe I did. I don't know. But
Somebody sent me this video. Somebody sent me this video. She said, I can't date somebody in 9 to 5 corporate America. He
mm-hmm.
said, why? She said, because who's going to buy me these Birkin bags? Who's going to buy me this? This guy could make $150, $150,000 a year in
Mm-hmm.
corporate America. And she says, that's not good enough because he has to be some type of public figure. He has to be doing this. He has to be doing that. This logic in this world is why
Cloud chasing ass boy.
this is why I'm in the spot where I'm at right now because
Right.
I just disconnect with it. So I guess you can play devil's advocate with it, but
Don't be stressing yourself out, bro. This is necessary. So I'll put a bow on it. I think what so many men's complaint is, this is why I brought it up. Women want a traditional man, but don't want to adhere to traditional roles. They don't want to adhere to traditional expectations. They want to be conditionally feminine, is what so many men complain about. They want you to provide. They want you to be the man. They want you to pay the bills. But then whenever it comes, like, yo,
that's the T.
Huh?
That's
Can
the
I?
T.
That is a T. But I'm here to address it so we can kind of hear it. And like, again, this isn't like I'm just when I see a problem, I try to bring it up and I try to see, okay, where are the two sides coming from? Let's come to a solution instead of saying you're wrong or this side is wrong or this side is, butthurt or this side is just, uh, insufferable. I'm like, no, let's find the middle ground, which is just that. Listen, everybody has a role. I talked about this last week. Everybody has a role that they have to adhere to, they have to abide by. And if one person has their expectations, they're meeting it, then when they say, hey, I need this reciprocated, you should be willing to do that. It's not a matter of doing so because, oh man, I'm being told to do. It's like, no, you should want to do this so because that's supposed to be your partner, your spouse. You know what I'm saying? Like it's what relationships are. It's not just about getting stuff. It's not just about being materialistic. It's about we have something we're trying to build together. He's doing his part. Let me do my part. Or she's doing her part. Let me do my part to make sure that we maintain a functional unit.
That is the perfect life. That's what I aim for. But in that, we hope we get it. That's all I can say.
That's a fact. You just keep building yourself up, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to be just diligent on the partner you find, and hopefully, she understands the work that you bring. And
this is not me hating on no women. Like, I'm not trying to come at women. Like, we as men, we lack things too. But I'm speaking on my experience. Not all men and not all women, but like me, these are the things that I provide, and this is why I'm single, because I do all these things, and I'm like, I just need 10%. Right. Like me, and they say you're not supposed to compare what you saw your mother do for your father, but I'm sorry, that's kind of what I see. Like, I just need 10% of that. I ain't asking for 100%, but I just need 10 to 15% of that, and I give you 150.
I just need 100% of whatever role that we established being brought to the table. Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Like, whatever we set the groundwork to be, if we're both going to work, okay, cool. Right. We both work, and I take care of this, you take care of that. And we just set that up. Once we set that up, everybody buys in and then 10 toes down. I don't need, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If I see 1 foot in, 1 foot out, then that's the one thing that'll be like, okay, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. All right. So let's move on, man. So we talked about our past relationships. We talked about the good. We talked about the bad. We talked about why we're single. But just looking back, if you had 3 things that you could have done better, or you would have done differently in your past relationship, or just in your past like interactions with women, what do you think they could have been? Just put simply.
Well, the one thing that I'm just gonna be transparent on this, not cheat. That was the one thing that I shouldn't have done.
Cheater, my God, man.
I'm not no guy who just doesn't tell my past. I tell the real. Do I feel like it was all? I feel like for my cheating, and I'm not going to justify why I cheated, but like it was wrong. Wrong. Cheating is not okay to do. But I feel like in my situation, it was just like, I feel like I was just pushed away so many times. But where I sat down and talked about it was, you shouldn't change your morals and values because of another individual not stepping up to their role in a relationship. You should supposed to step away and leave. And that's what took me so long to kind of see where the difference was of like why I cheated and why I shouldn't have. So that's one quality. One thing. Let me see. Let me think. It's a good question.
We could just leave it at that one if you want to. I mean,
no, I want to get all 3 of these. I'll say communication. Communication. I struggled with a lot. I don't struggle with it anymore. Like I say, I come from a household who, if pops ain't speaking in the house, we just don't speak. Like we won't speak for 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, well, they're mad at each other. We walking on eggshells. So if somebody was my ex or whoever girl I spoke to got mad about something and they didn't want to speak to me, it was so easy for me to shut down. Where that just caused so many problems, where it's like, why are you shutting down? Let's figure this out. Let's bring this to the table. Where did we go wrong? Kind of how your point was. Figure out what went wrong. Let's compromise and let's see what we can do better to go to the next situation. Where I used to just shut down completely and we just won't be speaking until, like I said, I was stubborn until you say sorry in my head. If I was wrong, I'll say sorry. But if I didn't feel like I was wrong, I didn't feel like I'd say sorry. So definitely just communication and understanding the other person's like reason. I don't, like I said, I'm stubborn. I don't ever think that I'm wrong. And that's where I mess up a lot, is I always think that I'm right in when somebody has to say something, is like, okay, let me just understand their side and understand that they could have a point. Like you're not always right, London. So
Yeah.
those are the three things I'll probably say that I needed to, like the qualities that I needed to improve on, and that I only struggle with that one still, that I'm always thinking I'm right. So I'm still day to day trying to fix that.
Mm. And no, and that those are three good points, man. I think those are things that every guy can relate to and resonate with. For me, I'll go boundaries was the main one in the first relationship for sure. Just like, yo, I'm not feeling this and I feel disrespected. And because of that, like I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I let too much slide and things got out of hand real quickly. Second, balance, because I feel like while it did work better in my relationships going forward after the first one, I feel like I overcorrected to a degree where like I get this assertion, and we'll talk about this in a couple minutes, but I get told your guard is too up. Like you can't give yourself to a woman at all. It's like I get told that a lot. And I'm like, there may be some truth to that. I have my reasons why, but I'm like, okay, fine. I can see what that is. Like I can see how that could be the case. That's number two is just finding balance. Third is just I would say just like not having to be a perfectionist, I think, right? Because I was trying to make sure everything was perfect and not trying to be stubborn, or like I was kind of stubborn, to a degree where it's like, nah, man, if I ain't got all of this, then I'd rather not be with the person, or I
Yeah.
feel like this could, lead to some problem down the road rather than just being in the moment to a degree. What I would say.
So you're big on the whole I need to have it before being in a relationship.
Yes, because for me, I look at kind of the way things are now. And like I said, I think most women would prefer to have a finished product and not build with you. So with that being said, I just adapt to what the surroundings are, what the culture is. And so like moms and them, my birthday just happened. So my mom's aunties, we African. So it's like, hey, where is your wife? I'm like, what is wife? We need to find Mikey a good girlfriend, good part. I'm like, I'm not even on there right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, beautiful women all around, and they tell me I'm handsome or whatever. But yeah, I'm like, not yet, not yet. We still building. We still
Yeah,
building.
I'm like auntie, mama. You should see how they be running around now. Y'all will understand. That's what I need to
Ooh,
say.
why you say that? Or like even with my dad, like my dad, I
It's
think that's another
acceptable.
thing too. Is like because my dad and I've realized as I got older are a lot alike. I go to him, I'm like, Dad, like, did you always want to be married? I'd ask him that type of stuff. Or what did you look for in a partner? Or what were you at 25? What were you looking at my age? And it's kind of the same thing. Now, he was in grad school. He was an engineer, right? So everything was a matter of graduate. And he knew as soon as he was done, boom, wife. Like he had that planned out. So I'm like, maybe that's just how I'm cut. Like, again, the traditional blueprint that I kind of was ingrained with and follow. I think it's just kind of I'm just following in a lot of his footsteps and trying to just put a modern spin on it. My thing is though, if I find a woman who meets all the like who meets everything I'm looking for and I'm attracted to her, like I'm all for being in a relationship. Like we could start dating and then, if it leads something, at least some. So I think that's the thing. I'd rather be a finished product, but if I find a woman who we vibe and we click, cool. Like I'm all for that. And like I can be in a relationship if that's what it leads to. Like if it brings it up and I'm attracted enough to her, it's like, okay, well, we can be in a relationship and then we can go forward and see what that happens. But I just think, most of the time it's like we can just do this casual thing. And I feel like I'm not ready yet. Like I'm not there where I want to be yet for me to be ready to be in a relationship, I would say.
I'm about to play your hand right here. You can answer it or you can't.
Okay.
Do you think the situation to how it stemmed out from the starting to not starting in football, and how she kind of folded? I'll say what women do, they fold when
Mm-hmm.
things get hard. Do you think that kind of made your mentality that way?
Yeah, it did. It definitely was a factor. Yes.
I was putting
Because
it together. I was like, this kind of seems like this is the reason why he's thinking like this now.
Yeah, because I mean, but the thing is like the second relationship, she like I wasn't a football player. Like I didn't have nothing where she could have used like, oh, well, you don't have this. Like it was a
Right.
genuine reaction. So in a way, it was like, okay, well, what happened there that was able to work, right? But I think, yeah, that definitely was one of those things. Like I understood at the drop of a dime, like a woman can decide, he ain't what I thought he was, and I can move on, or I can find something better. I would say that goes on again, putting it back on men and accountability. That goes on the type of woman you choose to deal with, or to date, or to lay with, or have children with, even all that stuff. Like if you pick a woman who's really not loyal, like that's a big thing for me is loyalty. Because of that interaction, I would say that because of that relationship, loyalty is probably my number one thing. Like if I smell any disloyalty, I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I just understand. I understand betrayal is a thing. It can happen, especially if you're not always looking to move forward. I think that's probably why I have the battery in my back to never be satisfied. Because I that was that little bit of like, I'm a starter and I thought my spot was safe. I thought I was secure, and then boom, and the drop of a dime, like
It's over, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it's not so much of because like I lost my starting spot and we broke up. That happened. It was like I understood you can never be complacent or satisfied because then at that point your security could be taken from you.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question though, for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, let me just play his hand on this and see if that has something to do.
See, but I appreciate you bringing that up because I think one thing from my interactions with women is that a lot of them like to just go straight to, oh, you're a misogynist, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're angry, or oh, it's like, no, most guys, have a reason for why they think the way that they do because you have to be, right? Like you can't just be, oh, I'm gonna think on emotion as a guy. It doesn't work well for you.
Right.
So everything has to come from a series of like experiences and then trying to make peace with those experiences or trying to make sense of them. So most of the time you try one thing, it doesn't work, you try to do something else or try to have a different opinion, right? And so I think it's just naturally just trying to, everything is just teetering on a pendulum. Okay, I tried this way,
Right.
that didn't work, I'm gonna try that. And then eventually you come to the where you can find a balance. And that at that point you can be in a relationship.
Giving dimes out here.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm just trying to do this for the culture, bro.
Hey,
All right. So the next part is, what are three qualities? Since we're on this, what are three qualities your future girlfriend or spouse has to possess? Like your three non-negotiables.
Almost to the point in life where they don't even have to have three negotiables. Just be where I'm kidding. I say the first one, supportive. I think, I mean, regardless of, I don't think I need it, but like every man has an ego. I don't care who you say you are, they have an ego. If your woman, it's something I give my mom so much credit. I tell her, like, if the USA said, y'all need to go left because this is where the hurricane's gonna go. If my dad said no, we need to go right. My mama is jumping on his back and going right. And I was like, to me, that's you believe in your man and you believe he's gonna put you on the best situation. To me, that made me feel good because now I'm about to run through a wall for you. I'm about to die for you. Right. But see, I don't think women see they say like, oh, you want everything. No, I just it feels good. Like just like I'll support you. So supportive is one. Two, I need her to have that hustle mentality because I come from a mindset of, as I said, I think in the second episode that I was in, I can't be up here. Say I make $300,000, $400,000 a year, and you're down here because I feel like if I can bring you up with the knowledge and give you the free game that I have, you can get on the same level as me, and we really be double. So it's like I don't want my wife to feel like she don't have the. I'm always going to give her the confidence. All this stems from the stuff that I've seen that my household didn't see. Like I feel like my dad could have gave my mom more confidence. Like this, like I'm always gonna. Not all women has to be entrepreneurs, but I'm always going to ask you, what do you like to do? I like to do nails, or I like to do this. Well, have you thought about shit? Maybe open up your own like like not own nail salon, but have you thought about doing something in that line? Like, let's start like a little business, start something here. Do you need some dip powder? Do you need some whatever y'all call that? Y'all need a drill. I'm always thinking entrepreneurship. So I'm always going to try to elevate my girl's mindset so she can be better. Cause I'm always going to say, you don't need me for nothing. You're here with me for me. But if me and you fall out, you know your bank account is good with or without me. So I don't want her to be like, oh, well, I can't leave because if I leave, I'm gonna be broke. No, I want you to have your millions. I want you to have your thousands and this and give her free game. So I'm so big on not holding my woman back and making sure she has that hustle mentality. So I'll say that's the second one, hustling. You gotta have that hustle mentality. If you're not here to learn and always get better, I'm gonna lose attraction. You gotta work out. Yep, that's the third one. You got to work out. I'm sorry, I'm not going to hide from that. You gotta work out. Fitness is so big into my career. Like that's something that me and you do. We see each other every day at the gym in that community at Alpha Land at 5:30, and it's like that's part of my like routine. And if my woman can't get behind me going after work and going to the gym to kind of unwind, because I'd be pissed after work. I'm in meetings all day. I'm talking to these people. I don't even whatever. So it's like I have to go there to unwind, get my cardio in, lift this and this. I would love for my girl to be like, you know what? Let me go with him a few times. If she's already in the gym before she meets me, perfect. If she's not, let me help you. Let me motivate you to say, why can't you be this person? Don't compare yourself to this alpha elite girl or this. Like, I think a lot of women do that. I'm gonna make sure you be her. So we're gonna take this step by step, and in 2 to 3 years, you're gonna be there. Don't worry about it. Trust the process. So I'm big on motivating. So that's something I'm big on. So you got to be in fitness, you got to be a hustler, and you got to be supportive. After that, I'm cool. And hopefully you got a nice job. That's 4. If you don't, then shoot. I guess we can talk about that. But that's the goal. That would be my 4.
See, I spot on, bro. I mean, bullseye. I guess it's we're the same in that regard, bro. Like, for me, loyalty. Loyalty. You use supportive. I use loyalty. That's number one, because I think loyalty takes care of a lot of shit. Like, you're not gonna if you truly have a woman who's loyal and she's devoted, a lot of the distractions, a lot of the hindrances in a relationship, I think, can be avoided and mitigated because she's not looking elsewhere. She's not having wandering eyes, yo. And so I think that's the first one. Healthy. She's just like healthy lifestyle, right? You don't have to lift weights if that's not what you're into. Now, I would like that. Like, that's attractive to me. I like it when she has, some peach, you know what I mean? So, but it's not like you don't have to be a super world record powerlifter. You just have to embody a healthy lifestyle. If you're into yoga, Pilates, if you're into CrossFit, as long as you have some type of physical activity that is keeping you healthy, because for me, staying in the gym is about healthy lifestyle. It's about having a healthy, clear mind. It's about keeping stress down. People who work out usually, aren't angry or don't have as many problems. Now, of course, people have problems and we deal with them, but that's just a way of it promotes healthy habits. You know what I mean? Is on. So that's second thing is just loyalty, health, and then third would just be devotion. I mean, devotion kind of ties into the hustle mentality, like devoted partner, devoted mom, devoted at her career, whatever she decides she wants to do with life. Like, as long, are you 10 toes down and are you committed? You know what I mean? Are you trying to grow? Are you trying to learn? Do you have a growth mindset? Because I know how I am, and I'm always trying to level up, right? I'm always trying, like you said, give free game. So that's the thing with me, is that when I decide I'm with someone, like, I'm with you 10 toes down, 100%. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I think, why, like, for me, it's like I'm very diligent on the partner I pick, because I know once you have me, like, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't wander nowhere. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to look and try to give it somewhere else. No, once you're my woman, I try to give you all the game, and that's why, having things figured out too is a big thing for me. I want to be able to, if there's ever an issue, I have the solution to it, or I know where to go get it from. So I think that's another part about, is it the loyalty thing? Yes, but it's also, I want to be able to know I'm prepared to be that.
So, yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel like loyalty should automatically for me. I mean, like I said, I've had done my past, but now I feel like that's automatically should be like a given. Like I shouldn't have to worry about you replying to this dude or this and this. Like I feel like that should automatic, but like we struggle with that in both sides. So both
Facts.
genders struggle with that. But
Facts.
those would be my three. Like I think we both kind of have the same vision of how we feel about those three because it's
And
kind of
it's
like we kind of live the same lifestyle.
yeah, facts. Facts. And I think it's important. I mean, those are really what most guys are gonna tell you. They're gonna want a woman who's loyal, they're gonna want a woman who's healthy, they're gonna want a woman who's feminine. I- You know, that is it is what it is. That's the truth. All right. All right. So now we'll flip it. What are three of your red flags you think would, if you had to ask any woman you've talked to in the past, what do you think three of your red flags? Or I could go first if you want me to go first on this.
It's up to you.
All right.
You go first.
All right. You're too guarded is one. Like that's every last one. You're too guarded. Like you see how one thing would be is the love word, right? I said it once and didn't mean it, right? Like didn't mean it 100%. Like I said it because I knew that was what she wanted to hear.
You one of those.
I am. I was. I'm not that anymore. I'm not that anymore. Just because I didn't grow up hearing it, so it is what it is. Like I didn't. My dad said it one time and I was 4. Other than that, and I just got comfortable saying it with my older sister. Other than that, I've never
that's
heard it.
just like just our culture. Like
Yeah,
I ain't never like my dad said it. He says it majority of the time. Like I probably say he said it to me like 6 times in my life total. But like 4 of them times I was in college and he was like 3 of them times he was drunk. Like I'm not even listening to you. So it's like, I mean, if you tell me like, and it's weird at this point now. So like if you say I love you,
weird.
I love you, son. I'm like, stop.
Yeah, it's weird. Like that's the thing. It's weird, and maybe that could be messed up to some people. It could be messed up if that is the case, but it is like it's weird. Like I heard it and I was like, okay, I don't know. It's like I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would just say you're too guarded, and it's like when you've been, cheated on and all that other stuff. It's like, all right, bro, like you just to give yourself again, it's like, nah, man, it takes a lot. That's the thing. When I'm with you, I'm 10 toes down, but it's getting me there. You know what I mean? And then number 2, like I said, it kind of ties into the whole guard thing. Very much like, all right, I'm like a light switch. You know what I mean? Like as quick as I can be in love and be infatuated and attracted, I could get turned off just that quickly. Like I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Boom, I'm good. I'm off, and I'm like, I can move on. Like it's almost toxic, like how fast it is. But
I'm turned off quick.
No, like it's bad, bro.
It's
like
bad.
and it is what it is. Because for me, like I see it, there's billions of women in the world. So I'm not gonna waste any time and any energy on red flags. And I ignored red flags in the past. Right, that's part of learning. And every time I've ignored them, they've always buried their head out in a bad way. So I'm like, I'm not ignoring them no more.
Yeah.
Right. Then number 3, almost, I talked about this kind of earlier in the episode, like just not a perfectionist, but like never able to be satisfied almost. Like it's like, nah, okay. Like, and I have almost like a bad thing with compliments too. Like I like when people are like, you're so swole in the gym. I'm like,
no, that's you.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's like, I don't like
swole people respond. That's traditional swole people response. Oh, you slow. No, I'm trying to get like you, bro. Like just take.
But it's not just with that though. It's like it's with almost anything else. Like I was never a complimented dude like that. Like it's like everything was about, yo, stay humble, don't get too cocky, don't get too in your head. So it's like because of that, I don't like know how to take compliments. Almost like my boy Jay is like this too. Like you'd be like, Jay, you're so smart, and he's like, I can't process. Like almost you want to reject it. So I think that's another thing too. Is just like always trying to like look at the next thing and never being comfortable, right? Never being satisfied. would be my 3 red flags.
It's crazy you said that because I actually got so many women like get on me. They be like, "You look cute," and I'm like, "Nah, not really." And they started getting mad at me because they're like, "You don't know how to take it." It's almost. It says like it's almost rude to say like, "No, you're not." Instead of just they say just take your compliment and whatever. So I just start saying thank you because I'm kind of like that too. I think just as African Americans and Nigerians and Africans, like we all kind of come from that same foundation. It's like we didn't really get complimented too much. So it's like hearing this stuff is like, this is like
it's almost repulsive. It's like,
like it's seeing Spanish. If I can't speak Spanish, like it's me. So I don't know. I'm like that too. Go to my 3. Turn off. That's one of my red flags. Like if I see any like red flag, like I mean, it could be so slight because I've seen things that stuff would turn me off quick. I'll be like, nope, I won't tell them, and I'll try to be like gradually back away, and then I just fall back slowly. And they're like, "Are you acting different?" I'm like, "No," but then over time, like a week or so, I tell them, but I just get turned off so quick. Like that's like I don't know what my problem is. Like Blake,
the type to casually ghost them, man. See, this is why I get on TikTok and they're talking about these dang toxic dudes. It's you in London.
I don't be ghosting nobody. I keep everything 100. I tell the kids now. But if a girl's talking to me about this and this, oh, this guy was in my DM. This guy, I'm like, you're doing too much. Stop talking to me about this. I don't want to hear about that. What's my second? I don't really have a lot of red flags for me.
Nah, that's good.
I get turned off really easy. I'm very, like I said, just kind of I need to be more sympathetic to people's problems. That is my problem. Yes, there we go. I'm not very sympathetic to other people's problems because it's like I've seen so much going on in my life, and I've seen it like from stuff in Detroit, stuff in my household, this and this, whatever. So when somebody tells me their problems, I'm gonna be there for them 3 to 4 times. But if they keep coming to me with the same problem 6, 7, 8 times, and I'm telling them how to kind of go about it, and then they hit me with well, you was raised different, we was raised different, this, and this. We just do things differently. I'm just blunt. I'm gonna be like, well, you need to stop talking to me about this because I'm not trying to hear it. If you ain't, I say, is your way working? Yes or no? Is it yes or no? And they say no. Well, why not try the way I'm trying to give you? And people say I'm too blunt and I'm too mean about it, but it's just the truth. I was just raised off of, are you hurt? No, or stop crying, like whatever. Like I was raised on that. Like something broken? No. So what are you crying for? All right, then wipe it off. So that is how I was rooted, but I gotta just be more understanding that people have situations in my World War III might not be their World War III. They might have something lower that might be their World War III. So I have to be more accommodating to people's needs.
Damn, World War III. But no. Okay, so on this point, I like this because I'm kind of the same way. I'm a little bit more sympathetic because, like, I have that ability to kind of like, okay, I get where you're coming from. Where I get annoyed is kind of like you're talking about though, where I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. Like that's it, right? If you have an issue, okay, I'll hear you out, and I'll try. Like I said, always trying to provide solutions. If you then don't want to take the solution I provide to you, then I'm like, okay, bro, like, what do you want me to do? Like seriously, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't help people who don't want to help themselves. My thing is, if I understand you not having it all figured out, nobody does, and nobody's perfect. But are you putting in the effort? If you're not putting in the effort, then I have a very tough time like having sympathy or having patience with people. Like I get very annoyed because of that type of stuff. Like, well, I don't have a job or I don't have this. Go apply, go make such and such. And you gotta grind. And well, no, it's easy for you to say, okay, well then
that's when I got mad. Stop talking to me about this. I'm giving you the solution to give you this. You have to go apply. If they don't call you back, how about you call them and say, well, my name is this. I apply for this position. Are you guys still hiring? Like you have to do the proper steps to get there. Or one that I actually just stopped recently talking to a girl because she's got a new position at a job and she didn't like that job. Mind you, she's been in 3 different Like she's worked for 3 different companies
Mm-hmm.
since that new one, and she
Mm-hmm.
said she hated every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, at this point, it might not even be the companies, it might be you. And I'm like, why are you not liking this? She's like, well, I just don't feel like I'll be comfortable until I'm into this government situation, this and this and this. And I'm like, well, work with what you got first and try to learn how to like it. And don't don't let that situation at a job make your outside life horribly, like where you just complain about everything. And she's like, well, I didn't come here for you to tell me. I came here for you to be just like for me to vent. I'm blunt. I'm gonna say what I feel. I'm gonna say, well, you just don't need to come at me at all with nothing. Then if you can't be ready for what I got to say, because it's just you have to look yourself in the eye and say, I don't know what I'm trying to. You gotta look yourself in the eye and be like, well, if I'm the problem, or I'm not gonna let this dictate how I'm acting outside of my job. I'm not about to sit here and cry at home just because work is not well. So it's like you gotta toughen up. I think a lot of people are just soft. I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people are soft, and I get it. You gotta just like the world is not easy. It's never gonna give you a easy spoon. Like if it was supposed to be easy, we all would be millionaires. Like you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have good days. But when you have bad days, you gotta just. To me, that's why I don't tell nobody my problems no more, because
Me neither.
nobody wants to hear them. So it's like I just sit there and just thug it out, get back on my feet, go back out the door the next day, and act like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can go about it. You can't go in here and cry to everybody, because everybody has problems. So that's kind of why I'm trying to learn how to be understanding of people's problems, because I struggle with that bad.
Nah, I feel that. I mean, in the end, it's like when you're driven, you don't have time to sit back and feel sorry for yourself. When you're busy, when you're trying to hustle, it's like, okay, you have this little bump in the road, you have this little nick, okay, boom, brush it off. Like go to the gym and kind of work out, and then that get your mind off it. And then it's like, okay, tomorrow's a new day. We'll deal with what tomorrow's got in store. You feel me? All right. So, let's just wrap this up, man. Good conversation. I know it's been a long one, but it's been a great one. So just to put a bow on all this, man, we talked about this, just accountability and going forward. We talked about our past. We talked about how we are presently. We talked about what we want in the future. So if you had to put a bow on all this, what would you say the overall take-home message is?
Overall, it's learning yourself. Learning yourself and figuring out the ways, learning yourself, learning your spouse, learning what you need to improve on, most importantly, before going into another relationship. Don't bring in baggage from an old relationship and bring that into a new one, because you will just bring toxicness into the relationship before you even started. So figure out yourself, heal yourself properly, know your flaws, know what you're willing to work on and what you're willing to take in that relationship, and go off of that. Like don't just always just take anything just because you're in love or whatever, but like figure out what your wants are and what you require in the relationship and go from there. So it's kind of how I take from this conversation, and just don't settle, because we tend to settle when things get hard.
Yeah. Not perfectly said. I mean, if I had to put it simply, heal, reflect, don't deflect, take accountability for your actions in the past. Let your past teach you about how you want your present to be, and let your present be the groundwork for your future.
Well said.
All righty. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Foreign Sight Podcast with Mike Obi and London Ogletree. Great partnership. My guy, man. Great episode. Great talk, man. I think this is going to be good. And this will be good for the culture, for the boys, and for the ladies who listen. But you can catch this episode on all your listening platforms, as well as YouTube and the iHeart platform and Anchor. Black Effect. Much love.